The unfathomable depth of existence, a journey into beingness. In the silent spaces between thoughts, in the vast expanse that cradles our fleeting moments of awareness, there exists a dimension of reality that defies all attempts at definition. We call it by many names: beingness, consciousness, the ground of being, the void that is full. Yet all words fail to capture its essence. It remains eternally beyond the reach of language, a mystery that can only be approached through direct experience, through a journey that takes us beyond the boundaries of our conditioned minds. The veil of appearances. Our ordinary consciousness resembles a small boat floating upon the surface of an infinite ocean. We mistake the waves for the totality of existence, failing to perceive the unfathomable depths that lie beneath. The world of forms, of objects and events unfolding in time, captivates our attention so completely that we forget to look beyond the veil of appearances. This forgetting is not accidental but the very structure of egoic consciousness. The separate self, that bundle of memories, desires, and identifications we call me, maintains itself through constant engagement with the surface phenomena of life. To turn one's gaze toward the depths threatens this carefully maintained illusion of separateness, and so the mind resists the call to venture beyond its familiar territory. Yet in every human heart, there exists a strange longing, a homesickness for something we have never known yet recognize as our truest home. This paradoxical yearning points toward that which cannot be lost because it was never truly absent, the beingness that constitutes our essential nature. The limitation of thought. Human thought, magnificent as it is in its ability to analyze, calculate, and create, stands helpless before the mystery of pure existence. Thought moves always within the field of the known, rearranging the furniture of concepts it has accumulated through experience and education. But beingness lies beyond all categories, beyond all divisions between subject and object, knower and known. The great spiritual traditions have recognized this limitation. They speak of a wisdom that transcends intellectual understanding, a direct apprehension that arises when thought falls silent. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The finger pointing to the moon is not the moon itself. These ancient metaphors remind us that the territory we seek to explore cannot be mapped by conventional means. In the midst of our technological civilization, with its ceaseless production of gadgets and distractions, we have largely forgotten this primary truth. We have mistaken information for wisdom, accumulation for fulfillment, activity for purpose. The insignificant planet that is our home, lost in the immensity of the universe, has been covered over with the artifacts of human restlessness, leaving little room for the contemplation of the infinite. The Gateway of Stillness. How then do we approach this unfathomable depth that lies at the heart of existence? The mystics of all traditions point to stillness as the gateway. When the mind's compulsive movement subsides, when the endless commentary that accompanies our every moment falls away, something else becomes possible, a direct encounter with the mystery of being. This stillness is not a state to be achieved through effort, but rather our natural condition when all effort ceases. It is the background against which all phenomena appear, the canvas upon which the painting of life unfolds. We do not need to search for it elsewhere. We need only to recognize what is already here, obscured by our constant reaching toward the next moment, the next experience, the next attainment. In the space of radical stillness, the separate self begins to dissolve. The boundaries that seemed so solid, defining where I end and the world begins, reveal themselves as arbitrary designations, useful conventions rather than absolute truths. What remains is not annihilation but expansion, the discovery that our true nature has no boundaries, that the deepest part of ourselves is continuous with all that is. The eternal present. Beingness knows no time. It exists fully in the eternal present, that dimensionless point where past and future meet. Our experience of time as a linear progression from past to future is another construct of the thinking mind, a useful fiction that allows us to navigate the practical demands of existence but ultimately a limitation on our perception of reality. When we drop fully into the present moment, surrendering our attachments to memories of what was and projections of what might be, we taste something of the eternity that the mystics speak of. This is not an endless duration but a quality of experience in which time's arrow is transcended altogether. Here, in the now that never passes away, we discover that life is always new, always fresh, always beginning. The true miracle lies not in extraordinary phenomena, but in the sheer fact of existence itself. That anything exists at all, that consciousness has emerged in the universe to witness its own unfolding. This is the primordial mystery before which all other questions pale in significance. In moments of deep presence, when the veil of familiarity drops away, we may suddenly be struck by the astonishing wonder of simple being. The journey without distance. The journey to this recognition is paradoxical, a journey without distance to a destination we have never left. As T.S. Eliot wrote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." This knowing is not intellectual but existential. It transforms our relationship to everything, to other beings, to the natural world, to our own thoughts and emotions. No longer identified exclusively with the surface waves of experience, we develop the capacity to remain anchored in the depths, even as we participate in the dance of manifestation. From this ground of being, action arises not from compulsion or lack, but from the spontaneous expression of our true nature. Compassion flows naturally when we recognize that others are not separate from us, that their suffering and joy are not fundamentally different from our own. The artificial boundaries that divide human beings from each other and from the living earth begin to dissolve in the light of this recognition. The precious that remains. When we sift through all the sand of human life, the accumulations, achievements, and attachments that we mistakenly identify with, what remains is this precious, this beingness that cannot be lost or damaged, that requires no defense or enhancement. It is the treasure hidden in plain sight, overlooked precisely because of its ubiquity. This is not some abstract philosophical concept, but the very substance of our moment-to-moment experience, the luminous awareness in which all phenomena appear and disappear. It is closer than our own breath, more intimate than our most private thoughts. To recognize it is to come home to ourselves in the most profound sense. The great mystical traditions, despite their differences in language and emphasis, converge on this central insight, that beneath the endless variety of forms lies a unity that can be directly experienced, a sacred ground that is the source and substance of all that exists. Whether this is called God, Brahman, Buddha nature, or the Tao matters less than the invitation it extends to each of us, to awaken from the dream of separation into the reality of wholeness. The living mystery. The unfathomable depth of existence is not something that can be finally explained or contained within any system of thought. It remains always a living mystery, revealing itself in ever new ways to those who approach it with humility and wonder. Each generation must discover it anew, finding fresh expressions for that which ultimately transcends all expression. In our age of information overload and technological distraction, the call to remember this dimension of being becomes increasingly urgent. Not as an escape from the challenges that face us as a species, but as the foundation for meeting those challenges with wisdom and compassion, rather than from the limitations of egoic consciousness. The mystics remind us that the answers we seek cannot be found solely in the realm of doing and having, in technological solutions or political systems, necessary as these may be. A more fundamental transformation is required, a shift in consciousness that reconnects us with the unfathomable depth of existence that is our true nature and the nature of all that is. This is the perennial invitation extended to every human being, to awaken from the trance of separation, to recognize the boundless awareness that we are, and to live from that recognition. In this lies the possibility of a life that is authentic, compassionate, and aligned with the deepest currents of being. Not as some distant ideal to be achieved through struggle, but as the natural expression of what we already are, once the veils of ignorance and conditioning have been penetrated. The unfathomable depth awaits our recognition, patient beyond all measure of time, present in every breath we take, in every moment of existence. It is the silence from which all sounds emerge, the emptiness that gives birth to all forms, the darkness that cradles all light. To know it is to know ourselves. To remember it is to remember our true home in the heart of the eternal mystery.